right, welcome everyone to another deep dive.
Yeah, excited to be here.
So today's topic is color spaces,
That's right.
which is, something that I think we all deal with on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Whether you realize it or not. Yeah.
Especially, we're all on computers, on phones.
That's right.
And, we're printing stuff out.
It's everywhere.
So this is really going to get into the nuts and bolts of how color works.
Definitely.
And we're going to be looking at three main color spaces.
Okay, sounds good.
RGB, CMYK, and Pantone.
The big three.
The big three, right?
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in, starting with probably the most familiar to everyone, RGB.
All right, so RGB standing for red, green, and blue.
Red, green, blue. Yep.
This is what we call the additive color model.
Okay.
And it's all about essentially adding light together
Okay.
to create all the colors that we see on our screens.
So if you add more and more light, what happens?
If you add more and more light, eventually you're going to get white. That's the kind of principle behind additive color mixing.
So it's like if you were to shine like a red flashlight on a wall.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And then a green one.
Yep, and then you shine them both at the same spot.
Right, and they overlap.
Right, you're going to get yellow.
Okay.
So that's essentially what's happening at a microscopic level on our screens.
But we're not, our screens aren't actually shining flashlights, so how's that work?
So within each pixel on your screen, you actually have 3 subpixels.
Right.
You have a red subpixel, a green subpixel, and a blue subpixel.
Okay.
And so by varying the intensity of each of those subpixels, we can actually create millions of different colors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really about mixing the intensity of those 3 primary colors.
So it's kind of like almost like pointillist painting or something.
Yeah, exactly, where you're using tiny dots to blend together to make the image.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so RGB, we got it. That screams.
That's the digital world.
That's the digital world.
But then when we want to actually print something,
yeah, you can't print light.
you can't print light, right?
Exactly.
So that's where CMYK comes in.
Okay, so CMYK stands for?
It stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, which is black.
Okay, and so that uses what's called the subtractive color model.
That's right.
And that's basically the opposite of what we were just talking about with RGB.
It's almost the opposite, yeah.
So instead of adding light, you're taking it away.
You're subtracting light, you're absorbing light with the inks.
Right, so the more ink you add, the darker it gets.
Exactly, the closer you get to black.
And so why do we need black ink? Couldn't you just mix the other 3?
So in theory, you could get close to black by mixing the other 3. But in practice, it often ends up looking kind of muddy, like a dark brown. And also, it's just not very efficient from a printing standpoint.
Okay.
Because if you're printing something with a lot of, say, black text, it's just much more efficient to have a dedicated black ink.
That makes sense.
Rather than having to combine all 3 of the other colors.
So it's for practicality and also just quality.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So now we've got digital, we've got print.
We've got the 2 worlds.
But what about if we're trying to get a color to look like exactly the same across all these different mediums?
Oh, that's where Pantone comes in.
Okay, so Pantone's I always think of it as the professional's choice.
Definitely.
But how does it actually work?
So Pantone is basically a standardized color matching system.
Okay.
It uses a numbering system. So every color has a unique Pantone number.
Okay.
And that number corresponds to a very specific formula of pigments.
Okay, so it's like a recipe.
It's a recipe.
For that exact color.
Exactly.
Okay, so that way, if you've got a logo.
Yeah, if you have a brand color.
Let's say Tiffany blue or something.
Right, exactly. So you want Tiffany blue to look the same, whether it's on their website or on their shopping bag.
Or on a billboard.
Right. So they would use a specific Pantone color for that, and then any printer anywhere in the world
could reproduce it.
Would know exactly how to mix the inks to get that exact color.
That's really, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But what about the material that you're printing on? Because I know that can
that's a great point.
Affect how it looks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Different materials will absorb and reflect light differently.
Right.
So actually, Pantone has different guides for different materials.
Oh, wow.
There's a coated paper guide, there's an uncoated paper guide, there's even textile guides.
Wow. So it's not just one Pantone, it's a whole bunch.
It's a whole system.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a whole world of color matching.
So, I was just thinking, about Tiffany blue. I wonder if that's actually like a Pantone color.
It is. It's Pantone 1837,
Oh, wow.
which is the year that Tiffany was founded.
That's really cool.
It's a really good example of how a Pantone color can really become part of a brand's identity.
Yeah.
You know, it evokes certain emotions, certain associations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting how color can be used strategically like that.
So, I mean, why should our listener care about all of this?
Well, I think understanding these color spaces is really important for anyone who works with visuals.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're a designer, a photographer,
Mhm.
a printer.
Even just if you're like posting stuff on social media.
Absolutely. Even if you're just, creating content for your own personal use.
Yeah, because you want it to look good.
You want it to look good.
And you want to understand like how it's going to translate
Across different mediums.
across different mediums, right?
Yeah.
So basically it's like using the right tool for the job.
That's a great analogy.
You wouldn't use a wrench to hammer a nail.
Right. You need the right tool.
Exactly.
And the thing is that, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. I
Yeah.
mean, with technology evolving as fast as it is.
With AR and VR and everything,
Exactly.
who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah. Our understanding of color and the way that we manipulate color is going to continue to change and evolve.
That's exciting, though.
It is exciting. It's really interesting to think about what the future holds.
Yeah, so what will the future of color look like? Yeah, that's a question for everyone to ponder.
Good question to leave everyone with.
And with that, I think that's the end of our color deep dive.
I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Um, you know, I think we've really covered a lot of ground here.
We got through all three color spaces.
We talked about, additive and subtractive color, how it works, why you need a black ink,
How to get that consistency.
why Pantone is so great.
It's amazing, yeah.
So, I hope everyone listening feels like they've got a better understanding of color now.
I hope so, too.
And, go out there and use that knowledge.
Go forth and color the world.
Go forth and color the world, yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.